maybe wasn't a big surprise, but since we last spoke,
yeah,
the news became official. I wonder if you could give a quick
yeah, I mean, I
bit.
think everybody expected it, you know what I'm saying, and I give credit to the guys who stuck with it, you know, the owners of the teams and stuff. They put a lot of money into it, lost a lot of money, and they did it for women's soccer, and, you know, the next step is the important step. I think everybody's already forgotten about it. We've got to move forward, and I think these owners will be involved in the new league. A lot of those ownerships will be involved, and, you know, I think they've realised the mistakes, so I think the business plan will be better. Hopefully the crowds will be bigger, business plan better, more appropriate stadiums for the players, and, you know, maybe we won't spend $500,000 on Marta next time. You know, maybe we need to hold off on Marta and maybe get a couple of Icelandics in, or a couple of Dutch players or something to add to the collection instead of the best player in the world, and maybe build into the best player in the world. But number one priority, I think, for women's soccer is to lengthen the season. It needs to go to 8 months, 9 months instead of, you know, 6 months or 3 months. I mean, we're in a 3-month season right now, New York Fury, with all these players. I mean, it's impossible to get them ready and prepared and be as professional as you can with them. So, you know, one of the reasons we started the Women's Professional Supergroup was to give them an extra 3 months. So if they're playing 6 months, they've got another 3 months of playing. But until it goes to 9 months, how are we going to prepare the best players in the world? Because you know that Marta's playing 9-10 months. You know Caroline Sager's playing 9-10 months. You know all the best players in the world are playing 9-10 months. Well, that's how you get better. You don't get better by showing up for 6 months and then 6 months you're coaching a college team for 3 months and then 3 months you're hanging out eating over Christmas. And, you know, I think it's really important, and the players need it. The players like Tobin Heath, Morgan, Amy Rodriguez, these are the guys that need the league, and they need 9-month league so they can stay fit, get fit, and have some rest time instead of training 12 months a year. I think they're the opposite of what all the other professionals are, you know. And how can you put, you know, you can't put pressure on these girls on the national team when there's no league. I mean, where's the pressure coming from? It's a group of 27, 28 players. I mean, who's going to get called into it when you can't see them week in, week out, and they're not training full-time, professionally. And I think it's really difficult for the national team coach to be able to bring new players in. They just don't see them enough. So I think we need to change that, and we need to do it. Everyone needs to get around the table, and the W League, the WPSL-Elite, and all the powers that be from WPS. And USSF, I think, is critical, and the national team people are critical, and say, all right, this is what we need to do. And there needs to be support from every single person that's in that room to be able to get this done. Although it's not fair to the players, and you need 20 clubs in it. You know, 16 to 20 clubs, West Coast, East Coast, 10 and 10, and then get a league going and see it through and put a decent budget together. You know, if it's 1.5 million, that's fine. You know, 2.5, 3 million, I think you're asking too much. But I think at 1.2 million, I think you can do a pretty good job, and, you know, maybe lose, you know, 400,000 the first year, then maybe 200, and then down from there. But it has to be professional. You know, I keep seeing people say, oh yeah, let's do a budget of 320,000, we can have a league. Yeah, you can have a league, but you're not going to bring the best players in the world here, and you're not going to make it really top class for the American national team players. And it's just not going to, and it's not going to be 9-10 months, which is what we need, you know. So if you can get all that in and get everyone around the round table to agree, and the coaches too, I think the coaches need to have input, the national team coach needs input, the U20s, the U23s, Randy, Stevie, they all need to get input, man, because this needs to work, because they've got players coming out from Notre Dame, from Virginia, from all these places, and they want them to play, but where are they going to play? You know, and where are they going to get top training from if there's no top training? You know?
It all adds up to a tough ask on the face of it, though, doesn't it?
It's a tough ask, but the federation needs to step in, I think, and embrace it, and I think if they do that, then I think we'll be fine. But we need their support this time. They haven't supported the league the last time. They need to support this one, and I think they know that. I mean, they supported MLS, and look at the success MLS has had the last 6-7 years. No one would have guessed that 15 years ago. You know, but they've got really behind it, and you know, I hope they get behind the women's game, because we need it. These kids need it too, because there's a lot of good players, as you saw today. You know, to look at. And I just hope the powers that be all get around the table and come to some agreement, so we don't have all these fledgling leagues all over the place. And there's 6 different leagues, and all the players are split up, and everybody's got one good player, and, you know, 1 national team player, and 2 okay players, and 6 average players, and 7 bad players, all combined into a team. You know, I think the best players need to play with each other, and hopefully that will happen. You can't but pray, you know.
Yeah, it's the national team of the future that needs this league more than the.
There's no question. I mean, when you look at the national team and you look at the quality of the young talent, Engen, Nicky Marshall, and Tobin, and Cheney, these kids, they need a place to play, man. What are they going to do when this Olympics is finished? What are they going to do? Yeah, they need 2 months off, no question, but after that, they need to play. They need to be in an environment. They can't just go in for 1 month and then off for 2 months, in for 1 month, off for 2 months. They need a place where they can play competitive games. You know, training camp is one thing, but the game is still a scrimmage at the end of the day. When When you're playing for 3 points, there's a big difference on a Saturday night, and you're playing in front of 6,000-7,000 people, and you're trying to win a game. That's what brings Amy Rodriguez to a better level. That's what brings Tobin Heath to a better level. And there's so much talent in those players, and in players that haven't been looked at yet, like Saboni from Western New York, and Engen, and Nikki Marshall. I mean, there's some fantastic players, man. I think need to get into the national program, but who's going to look at them right now? It's a difficult situation for them to get looked at, So
you've got to go abroad to get that environment.
Yeah, a lot of them have gone abroad, and the problem with going abroad is the professionalism of the actual team itself. They pay good money, they got great facilities, best facilities, but the environment isn't great. It's not competitive enough. And again, on those teams, you can go to any foreign country, Sweden. When you take the top 4 teams out of it, the rest of them are, just okay. And that training environment's not going to make Amy Rodriguez any better. I think they need to be in 9 months in a first-class environment. And if they get pulled out for the national team for 2 weeks, hey, that's great, no problem with that. But at least when they come back, they're playing, and then get the proper rest time. I feel like Amy Rodriguez has been playing for 3 years now, 4 years without a rest. Abby one back, and I think eventually it takes its toll on your body. So I just, we never have a postseason, a pre-season, and a season. We always seem to have a season. We just keep jumping around. The national team players, particularly, the other players have too long of an off season, and not enough pre-season, and not enough games really. The WPSL-Elite and the W League is squished into 3 months. It's not enough for the top players to be able to get super fit and really improve. How do you improve over 3 months? You can't improve, So, fingers crossed. I just hope the powers give a little bit and everybody gives something so the game can go forward. Because otherwise we'll be stuck here another 15 years. I'll have less here if that's feasible. And we'll be talking about the same thing 15 years from now. And nothing will have happened to the game. And we can't let it disappear like Wusa disappear very quickly. WPS just finished, got the Olympics this summer. So there's still a bit of excitement around. I think it's a great time to say, all right, this is what we're going to do. And this is when we're going to do it, starting February next year. Blah, this team's on board, this group's on board, this is who's running the league, and go after sponsors and get it done. Because if we wait, we're going to be in the same hole we started with again here,